సినిమాల్లో వ్యాపార ప్రకటనలు మహిళలను వివక్షతతో వక్రదృష్టితో చిత్రీకరించడం కొంతకాలంగా జరుగుతోంది. అది మనం కూడా చూస్తూనే ఉన్నాం. ఈ అంశంపై మహిళలు నిరసన కార్యక్రమాలు చేయడం, సమావేశాలు నిర్వహించడం చేస్తున్నా ఆశించినంత మార్పు అయితే రావడం లేదు. ఈ అంశంపై చర్చించడానికి ప్రకటనల రంగమే సాక్షాత్తు ముందుకొచ్చింది. ఇంటర్నేషనల్ అడ్వర్టైజింగ్ అసోసియేషన్ IAA వాయిస్ ఆఫ్ చేంజ్ అనే నినాదంతో హైదరాబాద్లో సినిమా ప్రకటనల రంగ నిపుణులతో చర్చా కార్యక్రమం నిర్వహించారు. హైదరాబాద్ గచ్చిబౌలిలోని టీ హబ్ ఈవెంట్స్ స్పేస్లో జరిగిన ఈ కార్యక్రమాన్ని తెలంగాణ గవర్నర్ తమిళిసై సౌందరరాజన్ ప్రారంభించారు. వాణిజ్య ప్రకటనలు సినిమాల్లో మహిళలను వివక్షతతో చిత్రీకరించడాన్ని గవర్నర్ అభ్యంతరం తెలిపారు. ప్రింట్, వీడియో, సినిమాల్లో మహిళలను వక్ర కోణంలో చూపడాన్ని ప్రజలు తిరస్కరించాలని కోరారు. సమాజంలో మహిళలు అన్ని విషయాల్లోనూ పురుషుల కంటే 10 రెట్లు ఎక్కువగా కష్టపడాల్సి వస్తుంది. దానికి అనుగుణంగా ప్రకటన తయారీదారుల మైండ్ సెట్ మారాలని గవర్నర్ సూచించారు. ప్రకటనల రంగానికి సంబంధించిన IAA సంస్థ ఈ అంశంపై చర్చించడాన్ని ప్రత్యేకంగా అభినందించారు ఆమె.
There should be a different mindset. And because in a lame excuse they are all telling advertisers and others telling, no, society wants what we are projecting other than the society. So there should be a change in mindset. And apart from that, whatever may be the brand, when women are focused, they think, and another thing about the zero size, slim, so they're obsessed towards that. So it is, women are shown in that shape. If they are not in that shape, then if they are fat, they are haters for that fatters. So these all things we have to mind. There should be change in mindset. But I am very happy that this platform is discussing such things, because these all things we will be talking about that, then we will forget. But the media personnels and the advertising personnels have come together, and we wanted to break the bias against the women. It's really a welcome move.
IAA వాయిస్ ఆఫ్ చేంజ్ కార్యక్రమంలో మొదటి ప్యానెల్ డిస్కషన్ జెండర్ కాన్షియస్ అండ్ పర్పస్ఫుల్ ఎంటర్టైన్మెంట్ అనే అంశంపై చర్చ జరిగింది. ఇందులో తెలంగాణ పోలీసు షీ టీమ్స్ విభాగానికి నేతృత్వం వహిస్తున్న అడిషనల్ డీజీపీ శిఖా గోయల్, అలాగే ప్రముఖ టాలీవుడ్ సినీ దర్శకురాలు నందిని రెడ్డి, యాక్టర్ కమ్ డైరెక్టర్ శ్రీనివాస్ అవసరాల, రెయిన్బో హాస్పిటల్స్ డైరెక్టర్ డాక్టర్ ప్రణతిరెడ్డి పాల్గొన్నారు. యాంకర్ స్వప్న సమన్వయకర్తగా వ్యవహరించారు. సినిమాల్లో మహిళల పాత్రలను కాలానికి అనుగుణంగా మార్చాల్సి ఉంటుంది. కొంతమేరకు మార్పు వచ్చినా చెప్పుకోదగ్గ మార్పు రాలేదని అభిప్రాయపడ్డారు అందులో పాల్గొన్న వక్తలు.
We have so many, I mean, in she teams, every second child who comes who's actually been stalking or eve teasing or something is copying some XYZ person, which they have seen on screen, and then they think this is normal.
Right.
This is how a boy is supposed to behave. The issue is, where do we teach them? How do we teach them? Do they feel, okay, my actor has behaved like this on screen, so yes, this is the right way. And if he behaves like this, the girl agrees. So it took a very powerful movie and a beautiful movie to tell that no means no.
Right.
You know, otherwise always it has been that no actually means yes. So there have been
true,
so many, I mean, I'd say day in and day out, you see these kind of things happening. From normal passing of lewd remarks on the street to serious offenses of obsessive love, which is not love in any way, but that obsessive love which leads to crime, are so much influenced by various kind of depictions on screen.
I think it boils down to who you are and what your sensibilities have been. I mean, Srini writes some of the most sensitive female characters. Sometimes I wonder why he thought of something and why I didn't, you know. And we've had men like Mahesh Bhattji also write films like ours. I mean, I think the stupendous women characters. So it comes down to the sensitivity. Shekhar Kamala, again, who writes such amazingly complex female characters. It boils down to what you are aware of as a person, what your sensibilities are growing up, what your belief system is, and then you bring that into your storytelling. So I feel if there are more women or more men who are sensitive, who are aware, who have a more nuanced way of telling stories and don't box themselves into certain things, more people like Srini, definitely I think change will be there. And the other thing is, I feel the OTT has opened up such a huge space for different kind of stories to be told.
What I want to say is like what every filmmaker deeply wants is to be relevant. You know, if it is so established that whatever they are going to show is not relevant anymore, then I think filmmakers will definitely change. And what are the markers for relevance? Earlier it was just what the market said, you know, whatever sells is relevant and whatever doesn't sell is irrelevant. But nowadays with so much being talked about, you know, on social media platforms and all, filmmakers have access to what their audience is thinking. And if the audience's voice is strong enough, you know, to say, you know, these things are not going to work anymore, then I definitely see there's going to be change. Like I said, it's not like, you know, there are some anti-social elements wanting to propagate some kind of mindset into people. No, filmmakers also want to be relevant and they also want to keep up with what the society is at this point. So if there comes a point where, you know, the feedback is much more stronger and filmmaker knows, you know, how his film is received in a positive way. Like when I read a critique of my work, I think of, you know, the changes I would have made if I met this critique like much before I made the film. And if I like the film, I think, you know, I got a lesson for free. So a filmmaker always wants to improve. So if the feedback is kind of, you know, to the point, I think it'll definitely make.
So, as a gynecologist, I deal exclusively with women. They are my patients. And there's absolutely no doubt that this portrayal of women, which happens, you know, in the media, in the advertising sector, definitely, you know, has changed the aspirations of how women want to be. And if they cannot be like that, you know, if they can't be fair skinned, if they can't be slim, there is a loss of sense of self-worth. There is a kind of, you know, apology for their body being the way it is. You know, they feel ashamed. And there is also, as a result of this, there is also an impact on their ability to actually grow. And as a doctor, I actually see the physical effects of this problem. So this quest for being slimmer, being fairer, has a lot of negative impact on health itself. You know, this quest for, as a gynecologist, it's interesting because this quest for fair skin begins right at the stage of pregnancy. There is this pregnant woman who wants a child to be born fair, and there is this belief, especially here, that using saffron makes the child fairer. And so they actually ask me this question, you know, how much saffron to use? Can we use saffron? And there is really no data on that. In fact, some isolated incidents and research has even proven that if you take more saffron, it can lead to complications like abruption, which is a serious complication where the placenta separates, and it can cause a problem to the baby and to the mother, which can be life-threatening. So imagine using this substance, which is unregulated. If you have to introduce a medication into the market, it has to go through so many levels of approval.
IAA Voice of Change రెండో ప్యానెల్ డిస్కషన్ జెండర్ కాన్షియస్ క్రియేటివిటీ ఇన్ అడ్వర్టైజింగ్ అనే అంశంపై జరిగే చర్చను కాస్మోస్ ఇండియా ప్రైవేట్ లిమిటెడ్ సీఈఓ మెగా టాటా సమన్వయకర్తగా వ్యవహరించారు. ఇందులో తెలంగాణ ఇండస్ట్రీస్ ఐటీ ప్రిన్సిపల్ సెక్రటరీ జయేష్ రంజన్, ఆర్కే స్వామి, ప్రెసిడెంట్ విజయ్ గోపాల్, అసోసియేటెడ్ అడ్వర్టైజింగ్ చైర్మన్ హేమంత్ అగర్వాల్, ది టూత్ కంపెనీ ఫౌండర్ డాక్టర్ శైలి పాల్గొనడం జరిగింది.
Women have rights, women have respect. In fact, I mean, the even more foundational thought would be that men are surviving in the world today, are existing in the world today because of women. So how can you be mean and demeaning and dehuman to someone who is the cause of your origin? And if this message is spread far and wide and percolates in the right communication channels, which influences the minds of such people, that is the most long-lasting and sustainable thing which the governments can do. Again, as I said, not to indicate that governments need to do nothing else. I mean, everything else that the previous panelists spoke about, those are also very important responsibilities. But this is something which we have been kind of ignoring or postponing or kind of looking the other way or thinking that it is too big a task. The government just will not be up to it. I guess that needs to change and we need to make a difference.
Behavior. So narratives become extremely important. And I think that is happening because end of the day, when we have to make choices, I mean, and I call them, or someone else has coined the phrase, competing truths. I need to exercise my thing more responsibly. So, and I think this responsibility of people talking about or choosing their competing truths is increasing because businesses are realizing, and this is a personal experience, I see more and more senior management people saying this. So this is more anecdotal than research. But yes, they are understanding that their brands are actually the social manifestations of their business. The brands is where the company meets the society. So they're going beyond doing this and saying, hey, we need to have a larger purpose than just a commercial proposition. We need to have a point of view in the world than a position in the category. So that change has already happened. They are certainly being more sensitive to gender and the way we look at it.
So you need to probably pick up, situations or get those insights from society, which are very important. Let me give you a small example. Today we see a lot of young people getting divorced very, very soon, in a matter of few months. And if you go deeper into that, one would see that both of them are working, but then when it comes to managing the home, it's all about the girl who has to manage the house, and the boy is simply sitting and saying, hey, it's not my job. Now, where does this come from? This comes from probably the upbringing or the way he has seen his mother doing everything at home. So I would like to see brand create, communication around, okay, what about a boy being taught by a mother how to cook, at least the basics. There would be certain sense of that, yes, this is a, dual responsibility that I need to take. And that is probably where, if the brand starts this conversation, we'll see more and more brands join that. And it will create a ripple effect to change our society very fast. So like you said, needle has to move. We need to reach a tipping point. Where is the tipping point coming in? So it has to be a comprehensive process by every brand to join in this, some kind of a movement.
Is actually a female-dominated field. Most people don't know that. We have patients who come and ask us for a male dentist. Because if you look at the advertising industry and the ads that I put out, they're all male dentists. 95% of ads put out are male dentists, but there's a 15% more female dentist ratio. Colleges intake 75% female to male ratio. Why isn't that being portrayed? So is the female profession here being undermined? So that's from the professional perspective. But as a consumer and as somebody who provides aesthetic services in the space of dentistry, I think what the advertising industry or media unfortunately has done has standardized or defined a smile. Perfectly aligned, white, bold, chiclet type teeth. That's not perfect. In my very personal opinion, I think what they've done is they've defined an emotion. Because every smile is beautiful. Yes, a healthy smile is what we're looking for. White teeth are not perfect. White teeth are not natural. It's the blacks who actually have whiter teeth than us. But why is everybody running after the white teeth? Why is everybody looking for perfectly aligned, big, bold, bright teeth? So over the years, of course, what's happened over so many decades can't be corrected overnight, but can it be corrected? And is it being corrected? Yes, it is being corrected. We are seeing a huge shift in what the media is portraying today. From the likes of companies like Colgate by Palmolive.
ఇక ఆఖరి అంశంగా ఫ్రెండ్స్ చాట్ సెషన్ నిర్వహించారు యాంకర్ స్వప్న. ఇందులో ఫెమినా మిస్ ఇండియా మానస వారణాసి, వి హబ్ సీఈఓ దీప్తి పాల్గొన్నారు.
I think a lot has changed, right? Beauty pageants have really evolved over the years. The notion of beauty has really changed over the years. And back in the day, I think beauty used to be looked at as this rare, exquisite thing, very hard to attain. But today, in the current day and age, everybody looks at beauty as something that they want to see represented, right, in all media, in all forms. And I love that about the way the beauty industry is going is because people are finally asking, why is it that people that we see in our communities, people that we see around us, why are they not being represented, right, in the popular notion of beauty? And that has led to so much transformation. And in the space of beauty pageants, I had the chance to represent India at Miss World. And of course, I shared this roof with 99 incredibly stunning women from across the world, the best of the best. And I had the most magical experience. Of course, the first thing that you see is what meets the eye, right? The skin deep definition that people often refer to it as. But what really stands out to me is not what I saw, but what I heard, the stories that we exchanged.
Always still continues to go on, is that in spite of the changing times, what really strikes me every time is that while the gender norms are kind of shifting, one of the most interesting things is that now, in addition to being a career woman, a woman has to actually make sure that she's managing everything brilliantly. And everything that we see in media is about perfection. Not just in looks, but also being the best at work, being the best compassionate boss, being the most hands-on mom, being the perfect cook, perfect hostess, 9 to 5, everything, right? So if anything, what I notice is that the norms are still the same, but they look a lot more millennial of sorts.
పాపులేషన్ ఫస్ట్ డైరెక్టర్ డాక్టర్ ఏఎల్ శారద మీడియాలో వస్తున్న మార్పులపై మాట్లాడారు. యూనిసెఫ్ ఇండియా ప్రతినిధి గీతాంజలి ప్రకటనలు లింగ వివక్షపై వారు జరిపిన సర్వే వివరాలను వెల్లడించారు. సమావేశంలో యాక్సెంచర్ మేనేజింగ్ డైరెక్టర్ చారులత రవికుమార్ రెస్పాన్సిబుల్ కమ్యూనికేషన్స్ మీద తన అభిప్రాయాలు వెల్లడించారు. ఈ కార్యక్రమానికి నగరంలోని ప్రముఖ బిజినెస్ స్కూల్ విద్యార్థులు కూడా పాల్గొన్నారు.
Of course, we are not saying that it will happen today or tomorrow. But at least we create that awareness. We start moving the needle inch by inch by inch. And if we all start doing it together, and we've started working very closely with leading agencies in Mumbai, in Delhi, we've had road shows, round tables. We're actually talking to the advertisers and the creators of the ads, of the content. And we are hoping that over a period of time, we are able to move that needle and shift and influence. And you know, it all starts with me, it all starts with you. How we break that bias in our own personal spaces. And then how we come together to bring that change in society eventually.
Or what is the gender portrayal? You know, how is it happening? How are men portrayed? How are girls portrayed? How comforting is that, and what kind of social norms will it create in society? And that research gave us a lot of interesting insights. Today's presentation will be focused on that, and it told us that it's imperative as key sort of stakeholders in this whole debate and discussion, we have to come together. The International Advertising Association here in Hyderabad, Ms. Rani Reddy,
ఇంటి పనులు చేయాలి, ఈ జనరేషన్లో కూడా విమెన్ అబ్బాయిలు వెళ్ళి వర్క్ చేయాలి, దట్ ఈస్ ఆల్ బయాసింగ్. సో అబ్బాస్ డోర్ కొడితే విమెన్ వెళ్ళి తీయాలి. అండ్ వాషింగ్ పౌడర్ డామెక్స్ యాడ్కి కూడా అమ్మాయిలే ఉంటారు, అమ్మాయిలే క్లీన్ చేస్తున్నట్టు చూపిస్తారు. అక్కడ కొంచెం చేంజ్ చేస్తే ఇప్పటికి నుంచి చేంజ్ వస్తుంది అని నా ఫీలింగ్. రావాలి, ఖచ్చితంగా రావాలి.
బట్ కొన్ని యాడ్స్లో ఇంకా చేంజ్ రావాలి అంతే. జస్ట్ అందరూ కూర్చుంటారు కదా, ఎవ్రీ వన్ షుడ్ బీ దేర్. అమ్మాయిలు అబ్బాయిలు అందరూ ఉండాలి. కొన్ని యాడ్స్లో అలా ఉంది, జస్ట్ అమ్మాయిలు జస్ట్ అది చేంజ్ అయితే చాలు. లేకపోతే అదర్వైజ్ సొసైటీ బేస్డ్ అంటే చేంజ్ ఉంది సొసైటీలో.
మేము ఇప్పుడు అడ్వర్టైజ్మెంట్స్ని చూస్తే ఒక ప్రోగ్రెసివ్ వరల్డ్లో ఒక అమ్మాయి ఒక సర్టన్ డ్యూటీస్ చేయాలి అని, లేకపోతే అబ్బాయిలే సర్టన్ డ్యూటీస్ చేయాలి అని అలాంటివి ఈ మధ్య ఒకవేళ పెట్టినా కూడా కస్టమర్స్ కనెక్ట్ అవ్వలేకపోతున్నారు. ఎందుకంటే వరల్డ్ అలాంటిది కాదు, సొసైటీ డెవలప్ అవుతుంది. అలానే వాటితో పాటు ప్యారలల్లీ అడ్వర్టైజ్మెంట్స్ కూడా డెవలప్ అవ్వాలి.
మొత్తానికి ఇది ఐఏఏ వాయిస్ ఆఫ్ చేంజ్ చేపట్టిన ఈ కార్యక్రమం ఖచ్చితంగా సమాజంలో కొంతలో కొంతైనా మార్పు తెస్తుందని మనం కోరుకుందాం. అలాగే సినిమాల్లో వ్యాపార ప్రకటనలు మహిళలను వివక్షతతో వక్రదృష్టితో చిత్రీకరించడం పూర్తిగా తగ్గాలని మనం ఆశిద్దాం. చూస్తూనే ఉండండి సాక్షి.